morning, everybody.
Good morning.
My name is Ahmet Sözen. I'm a professor of international relations. Currently, I'm the chair of the Department of International Relations here. I was asked to make a presentation to you on the Cyprus issue today. But before doing that, I would like to sort of get a sense of who you are and what type of background you have on Cyprus problem so that I can tailor my presentation accordingly, according to the level of your knowledge on the Cyprus issue. But before doing that, can we just very quickly go around here to see where you're from and what you've been studying so that I can understand what type of discipline you are coming from. We will start here.
Hello, my name is Sonia. I'm from Ukraine and I study international economics.
Okay.
My name is Elisa. I'm from Russia. I study international relations.
Okay.
My name is Anastasia. I'm from Ukraine and I study dentistry.
Okay.
I'm Alessandra from Italy and I study economics.
All right.
I'm Simon from Germany and I study marketing. I'm Ibrahim from Pakistan. I'm a graduate of BSc Business.
Okay.
My name is Irina. I'm from Ukraine and I study management.
My name is Amar. I'm from Pakistan. I'm studying business administration.
Okay.
My name is Elfie from Taiwan. I'm studying economics. My name is Vivian from China and I'm majoring in sociology.
All right.
My name is Alexander. I'm from Serbia. I study environmental protection engineering.
My name is Daniel. I'm from France. And I study
Where are you from?
France.
France. Okay.
And I study business.
My name is Sophia. I'm from Hong Kong and my major is statistics.
I am Serena from China. I study research.
Okay.
My name is Gautier. I am from Azerbaijan. I study business.
Okay. Very good. Where in Azerbaijan you study?
I study here.
Oh, you study here. Okay.
My name is Zainab. I'm from Pakistan and I'm studying public administration.
My name is Ivana. I'm from Croatia and I'm studying political science.
My name is Agnes. I'm from Hungary and I study economics.
My name is Patricia from Spain and I study economics.
All right.
My name is Dora from Hungary and I study industrial design.
Okay.
I'm Maita from Poland and I'm studying economics.
I'm Yazan from Canada and I study political science.
I'm Oli. I'm from Ukraine. I'm studying English and German.
All right.
I'm Shada from Palestine and I study architecture.
All right.
I'm Sia. I'm from Russia and I study philology. I'm Kaisa from Estonia and I study Spanish.
From Estonia?
Yes.
Tallinn, Tartu?
Tartu.
Very good.
I'm Vali from Romania and I'm studying the languages, English and Spanish.
Where are you from? In Romania.
Timișoara.
Timișoara. Okay. Very good.
I'm Denisa from Czech Republic. I'm studying human resources.
All right.
I'm from Pakistan. I'm studying here.
Excellent. Excellent. All of you are undergraduate students, or is there any of you who are doing masters? Excellent. Excellent. I've been to most of your countries, except the only country that I haven't been was Pakistan and Ukraine. But those are in my list. But the rest, I've been to where you're from. Cyprus problem. What is the first thing that comes to your mind when you hear the word Cyprus problem? Anybody?
Turkey and Greece.
Turkey and Greece, all right. Anything else? If I asked you, what is the origin of the Cyprus problem? When did it start, for example? Any ideas?
40 years old.
Huh?
40 years old.
40 years old. Anybody else?
It was
Now-
English expansion.
Excuse me?
It was English expansion.
English expansion. This is interesting, all right? Now, some of you who are coming from EU countries, some of you who are EU citizens have heard about Italy, Spain, and Estonia and whatnot. Now you can cross to both sides of the island, right? Suppose that you cross to the other side of the island. If you ask this question, what is the origin of the Cyprus problem? When did it start? Majority of the Greek Cypriots, if you ask this question on the southern part of the island, they'll tell you that the problem started in 1974. And they will tell you that the problem is a problem of foreign invasion and occupation of an independent country. And they will claim that all of a sudden Turkey as an outside power came and invaded one-third of the island. So this is sort of, well, there might be some exceptions, but in general, this is the version of the history that they are going to tell you. Whereas you've been spending some time on this side of the island, on the northern part of the island, I bet that majority of people are telling you that the problem actually started before 1974. That the ethnic fighting dates back to late 50s, and more specifically 1963, when there was this constitutional conflict between the two communities. There was ethnic fighting, and then the problem started. And 1 year later, in 1964, UN peacekeeping force came to Cyprus. I don't know if you have been seeing their cars. UN is the name that they have. They have been on the island since 1964. So it's been almost, what? 50 years. All right? The UN has one of the oldest peacekeeping force in Cyprus. It's one of the oldest mission, UN peacekeeping mission in Cyprus. But you know, the actual, so here you have another version of the history. One for the north, one for the south. But if you ask me, I usually start the date of the conflict with a very interesting date that no other people actually use in Cyprus problem. 1648. Does it sound familiar, this date? 1648? Somebody said he or she was from Germany? Anybody? Does the name of the city Westphalia ring a bell? Yeah? The Peace of Westphalia, right? After the 30 Years' War came the Peace of Westphalia, right? The Westphalian system created the first modern international system based on the state, right? So the state became the most important actor. Don't worry, I started with 1648, but I'm going to jump very quickly to present time. Don't worry about it. Then, as my French friend would know, 1789, the French Revolution, the state became what? The nation state. So the nation state became the important actor in world politics. It became like the paradigm. Now, the problem in Cyprus, in my opinion, I'll jump from the conclusion, is this problem of what I call obsession with becoming your own nation state, or the obsession to be part of a nation state. So for example, in Cyprus we have two major communities, Greek Cypriots and Turkish Cypriots, right? But do we have a Cypriot nation? Obviously we don't. So throughout the history, the Greek Cypriots wanted to be part of Greater Greece. That's why they developed their national, let's say, thesis, which is called enosis. Have you heard about this term before? Enosis? Anybody familiar? Enosis in Greek means union. So their national aspiration since the early 20th century, even 19th century, was to unite Cyprus with Greece. And that was called enosis. And as a reaction, the Turkish Cypriots developed their own national thesis, which was called Taksim in Turkish, which means partitioning of the island, dividing the island into two, joining one group to Greece and joining the other one with Turkey. So historically, Greek Cypriots were obsessed to become part of Greece, and Turkish Cypriots as a reaction to become part of Turkey. That's how the conflict started. Cyprus, very fast in history, as you know, 1571 to 1879, 1878, was an Ottoman territory. Then it was rented, the Ottomans rented the island to the British, rented, in order for getting help, British help, in the Ottoman Empire's war against Russia. But after World War I, when the Ottoman Empire entered war against United Kingdom in alliance with Germany, the reaction was United Kingdom united the island with its own empire, made the island part of its empire. And after the Treaty of Lausanne, 1923-24, Cyprus remained outside of the Ottoman territory, and the Ottoman Empire was gone. It became the Republic of Turkey. Since then, Cyprus became a British colony until 1960. Until 1960. And what happened in 1960? A republic was established in Cyprus. But in order to understand the 1960, we have to understand the international background behind it. We cannot understand events in isolation from what was happening as a global trend. So if I ask you a question, what were some of the global trends in the 1950s? Can you name two very important global trends or global events that shaped world politics? Any ideas? I'm talking about post-World War II, 1950s. Anybody? The what? Yes. One was anti-colonial movements or movements of independences, right? Or decolonization movements. But there was another one, another big trend, big, let's say, event that shaped the whole global politics. Excellent. So two events that we need to understand. One was the Cold War, and the other one was decolonization movements. And Cyprus was not an exception. Cyprus was also influenced by these two global events, and I'm going to explain how. First of all, there was a movement of independence in Cyprus, but it was mostly a Greek Cypriot one. The Greek Cypriots organized an underground organization, and they were trying to kick the British out of the island with the aim of, once the British is gone, we are going to unite the island with Greece. Now, on the other hand, there was this Cold War, and during this Cold War, the two countries which were very much involved in Cyprus were Turkey and Greece, right? Who were also known as the two motherlands. Majority of Greek Cypriots perceived Greece as their motherland. They wanted to become part of Greece. The majority of Turkish Cypriots identified themselves as belonging to Turkey. Now, the idea was, once the ethnic conflict started in Cyprus in the late 50s, 1950s, there was a fear that fighting between Turkish Cypriots and Greek Cypriots on the island will spill over, will spread to a war between Greece and Turkey, the two motherlands. Clear? Now, this was during the Cold War. And NATO and Turkey and Greece, as you know, are the two members of NATO, who are responsible for the security of the very southeastern flank of NATO. Now my question is, during the Cold War, is a war between Greece and Turkey, two NATO members, possible? Of course not. This was unthinkable. Having two NATO members going to war against one another was unthinkable. So the big powers like United States, United Kingdom, they tried to prevent a war between Turkey and Greece, and preventing that war would be to prevent the conflict in Cyprus between Turkish Cypriots and Greek Cypriots. But it was also clear that in a couple of years' time, Cyprus will become independent once the British would withdraw. So the idea was, who is going to rule Cyprus? Just like everywhere else in Southeast Asia or in Africa, if you look at the maps in 1959 and then in late 1960, the maps radically changed. In 1959, you had a couple of divisions with the colonial powers ruling majority of the regions. But in late 1960, what happened? Dozens of new independent countries mushroomed, emerged, right? Cyprus, as I said, was not an exception. So the idea was, who is going to rule Cyprus? What type of governance system are you going to establish in Cyprus? Historically, this nation-state paradigm still dominated. Greek Cypriots wanted to become part of Greater Greece. Turkish Cypriots wanted to become part of Greater Turkey. But what happened in Cyprus in 1960? In order to prevent a war between Greece and Turkey, and in order to prevent conflict between fighting between Greek and Turkish Cypriots, a governance system was imposed on Cyprus. Imposed, encouraged, whatever you call it. That's how the 1960 Republic of Cyprus was established. The 1960 Republic of Cyprus was not a nation state. It was known to be a consociational democracy. Heard about this term before? Consociational democracy? It's a type of political system which is based on power sharing, sharing of the competences between different ethnic or communal groups. So for example, the president of the republic was a Greek Cypriot, but the vice president of the republic with veto power was a Turkish Cypriot. The parliament was divided in a 7-to-3 ratio. The government was divided into a 7-to-3 ratio. Even the civil servants for the state was in that ratio. So 70% were Greek Cypriots and 30% were Turkish Cypriots in that system. So it was a power-sharing system. It was also known to be a functional federation. Some of you are coming from federations, or some of you are coming from former federations, like I think Serbia, Russia, right? Now, the idea in federations were different units, different ethnic or religious groups to share the power of the central government. That was the idea in 1960. But it was not a full federation, it was a functional federation. Why? Because the two communities were sharing the functions of the state. In normal federations, there are also geographical divisions. But in Cyprus in 1960, there was no north and south. So there was no geographical division. In any case, the 1960 Republic lived only 3 years. In 1963, there was a constitutional crisis. The Greek Cypriots tried to change the constitution unilaterally in order to rid the Turkish Cypriots from their rights in the constitution, to turn the Republic of Cyprus into a Greek Cypriot nation state instead of a federal state. So as a result, there were fightings. The Turkish Cypriots were kicked out of the state machinery by the end of 1963. And then a few months later, in March 1964, the UN sent peacekeeping troops in Cyprus. And they have been here since then. Now, towards the end of 1960s, to be precise 1968, inter-communal negotiations started in Cyprus, meaning how do we solve the Cyprus problem? In order to answer that, there was the start of the inter-communal negotiations. They have been going on since then. It's been, what, 45 years? Without any major success. In 1974, there is another important date. Then, Greece, as an important motherland, was ruled by colonel's regime, by a military regime, which came to power in 1967. They were losing popularity in Greece, and they were in need of a success story. So in order to boost their prestige, they attempted to unite Cyprus with Greece. On the 15th of July 1974, the military regime in Greece sent troops to Cyprus in order to topple the Greek Cypriot government and then declare enosis, meaning union of the island with Greece. And 5 days later, 20th of July 1974, Turkey sent troops to Cyprus to prevent Cyprus from becoming part of Greece. And a year later, in 1975, there was a population exchange agreement. As a result of the war, the island was divided into two parts, but there were still Turkish Cypriots who used to live in the southern part of the island, and there were Greek Cypriots who used to live in the northern part of the island. In 1975, they were given the chance, if they wanted to cross to the other side. And majority of Greek Cypriots who used to live, for example, in Famagusta or in Kyrenia or in other parts of the north, and majority of Turkish Cypriots who used to live in the southern part of the island, they crossed to the other side mostly to feel more secure. Majority of Turkish Cypriots preferred to come to the north to live under Turkish control, and majority of Greek Cypriots who used to live in the northern part of the island, they preferred to go to the south to live under Greek Cypriot National Guard's control. And it's been what? Since 1975 up to today, it's been 38 years. The checkpoints you're close to major crossings,